Shalom Aleichem, Malachei Hasharet, Malachei Elyon, Melech Malchei Hamlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Lachem l'shalom, Malachei Hashalom, Malachei Elyon, Melech Malchei Hamlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Bachuni l'shalom, Malachei Hashalom, Malachei Elyon, Melech Malchei Hamlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Tzedchem l'shalom, Malachei Hashalom, Malachei Elyon, Melech Malchei Hamlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. I think so.
We are a cacophony of sizes, shapes, colors, lives, a silken thread running through from one to the next, connecting us together, one to another, l'dor v'dor. We question, fight, challenge, doubt, search, understand, comprehend, believe, trust, faith, and know we're all just one big family. We are the pride of a community reborn. We are one. We are a family centered in our faith. We look inward and reach outward together.
We are chaos, unified, divergent, sometimes at cross purposes, sometimes in amazing synchronicity, young, old, religious and not, willing and not. We experience the Spirit of God within each of us when we come together. We are a team, a family yoked together. We are a family growing together. We are a force.
We are a home for all who need it. We are together for different reasons, whether by choice or by tradition, an accepting community. We remain one and strong together. We remain us, together all the way. We are God's children, an eclectic mix of age and values, yet finding common ground to work together.
We are friends, we are family, we are teachers, we are students, we are Temple Israel.
Shabbat Shalom. My name is Melissa Newman, and as co-chair of the Rabbi Transition and Installation Committee, it is my pleasure to welcome you to this joyous occasion for Temple Israel. First, I want to mention that anyone participating in the service tonight without a mask has taken a test and has tested negative for COVID. So we ask that everybody else does. Please keep your mask up, covering your nose and your mouth. Thank you. We do want to especially welcome tonight Rabbi Fox's family and special guests who join with our congregation this Shabbat evening to commemorate the installation of our senior rabbi through prayer, music, meditation, poetry, and community recognition. Please make sure to say hello to them during the oneg outside following the service. I would like to acknowledge Rabbi Jeff Brown, Rabbi Lenore Bohm, Rabbi Moshe Halfon, and Judy Nikelski, daughter of Rabbi Kelter. And joining us online tonight, we have Rabbi Howard Leibson. It is wonderful that we can gather this evening after weathering the challenges of the pandemic to celebrate such a momentous time for our community. As we honor Rabbi Fox, we're also celebrating the history and foundations of our almost century-old community, along with all the people whose vision, efforts, and dedication have given us this community life, nurtured it, and brought us here to this very moment. I would like to take this opportunity to acknowledge and thank the members of the Rabbi Transition and Installation Committee who have helped to make this celebratory weekend possible. And if you wouldn't mind standing. Ron Artstein, Judy Blumenthal, Jim Linden, Andrea Salisbury, Rachel Van Ralt, and Mark Dressner. Thank you all. Unfortunately, my wonderful co-chair, Jan Stein, is out of town, but he is certainly here in spirit and will join us for tomorrow's Havdalah event. I also want to thank Barry Kogert, who was instrumental with the music for this beautiful weekend. To Cantor Cooper, Eric, and Sharon, and the entire temple staff. This weekend has been like planning a bar mitzvah, and we could not have done it without all of you. We are so appreciative of all of your efforts. I do want to encourage everyone to participate in our special mitzvah project, The Power of Community, which was launched in honor of Rabbi Fox's installation. This project, dear to Rabbi Fox's passion to improve the environment, promotes steps that we can all take in our daily lives to reduce our carbon footprint. More information can be found on our Temple Israel website and in the newsletter. On behalf of Temple Israel, we want to express our heartfelt gratitude for the generous support of our installation weekend sponsors. A list of the sponsors is listed in the program booklet that you received this evening. Again, this evening would not be possible without your support. Now, I am pleased and honored to have Councilwoman Susie Price of the 3rd District share this momentous occasion with our community. My apologies. Rabbi Lisa Hochberg Miller has joined us this evening as well. Yay! So now I would like to have Councilwoman Susie Price please share some remarks on this special evening.
Well, good evening, everyone, and thank you so much for giving me the honor to be able to join you all this evening. I know that for many of you, this is probably the first time you've had the opportunity to come and gather in this space together, and I think that's a beautiful thing. And the last time I was here, Rabbi Moskowitz was here, and I had the opportunity and the privilege to work with him for many years, and I'm so excited and happy to be able to work with our new rabbi, Rabbi Fox. So thank you for being here and for being part of our community. I had a bit of a chance this morning to do some research on you. And with the help of my team, only the good stuff. I couldn't find anything that would really, be a crowd pleaser. But he's a California man, born in San Diego, and has committed his life along with his wife. Is your wife Dory here? Hi. To working with youth and engaging the youth and working on social activism and social justice with the youth. And I think that for someone who's dedicated my entire life to public service, I know that intercepting at that stage, especially at the middle school stage, is such an important part in terms of building the type of communities and the people, the adults that we want to see around us. And so I thank you for your service in that regard. And I know that our community, well beyond the temple and the congregants of the temple, is going to benefit from your leadership here and your family's presence here. As many of you know, my council office represents this area, this district, and every year we have the honor and the privilege to partner with you and so many other community and faith-based organizations in the city of Long Beach on our day of service, our Make a Difference Day. And I want to thank you for allowing us to continue to be a part of that partnership. Coming here to this temple on that day every year, I was sad we couldn't do it last year, but coming here every year on that day, it's such an overwhelming emotional experience for me, because the temple gets filled with community members and people of all different backgrounds and ethnicities and religion, and we're all here for one purpose, and that's to do good, to help others, and to work side by side regardless of our differences and our beliefs. And it's truly the one day a year where I'm reminded of the diversity of this amazing community and the love that this community has for one another, and of course for the city that we live in. And it's truly an honor to do that every year because it's a good reminder. Beyond that, the temple has been a place where we have come together as a community to mourn national tragedies. You have opened this space to me and other city leaders, regardless of our faith and our background, and to anyone else who wants. You've opened your doors to allow us in to mourn at a time of tragedy. You've also allowed us as a council office to host events here where we talk about hate and divisiveness and how we overcome that through love and compassion and understanding. So this space is a special space for me, not just because it's a place of worship in my community, and I value all of the places of worship in my community. I tend to love every religion. My mother used to drag me from one service to the other growing up because we were lost, very spiritual people, but the two of us kind of found our way by going to different services and different religions. You have always opened your doors and welcomed everyone, including me, and I know that under the leadership of Rabbi Fox, you're going to continue to do that. And I just encourage you all to continue to be a part of your community, which I know you will, outside these walls and to the broader city that we live in, because we need you and the spirit that you bring here when you come to this temple to be spread out into the community when you walk out the doors as well. And I know that Rabbi Fox will help us. Which one? Either one? Okay. Rabbi Fox will help continue that energy that is always something that's very well known when people talk about this beautiful temple and the people who belong here. So thank you.
It's a good start, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, we have the opportunity tonight not just to be a congregation in sitting in the same place and joining together in one moment, but to really define what it means to be a congregation. Now, what a congregation is it's a little bit vague, right? I mean, we do have a formal membership that allows us to be a part of this community. We have rituals and activities that we do together. But what actually makes us a community, what actually allows us to walk into this sacred and historied space and turn it into something holy, is to allow our voices to join together. Not as one voice, not as one single note in unison, but all of our many voices in harmony. And so it is in that vein that I invite us, Lahu Naranana, to sing together. Let's turn together to page 12 of our prayer books and sing together, not as one voice, as many in harmony.
Let us sing unto God a new song. Let us sing unto God a new song. Lie, 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 lie. Lie, 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 lie. Lie, 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 lie. Lie, 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 lie. Lie, 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 lie. Lie, 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 lie. Lie, 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 lie. Lie, 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 lie. Lie, 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 lie. Lie, 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 lie. Lie, 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 lie. Lie, 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 lie. Lie, 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 lie. Lie, 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 lie. Lie, 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 lie. Lie, 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 lie. Lie, 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 lie. Lie, 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 lie. Lie, 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 lie. Lie, 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 lie sanav vetoda. Bismirot nari alon. Bismirot nari alon. Lie, lie, la, lie, 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 la, lie, lie. Lie, lie, la, lie, lie, la, lie, lie. Lie, lie, la, lie, 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 lie. Lie, lie, la, lie, 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 lie. Lie, lie, la, lie, 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 lie. Let us sing unto God, sing unto God a new song. Let us sing unto God, sing unto God a new song. I know you know it now. Lie, lie, la, lie, 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 la, lie, lie. Lie, lie, la, lie, lie, la, lie, lie. Lie, lie, la, lie, 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 lie. Lie, lie, la, lie, 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 lie. Lie, lie, la, lie, 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 lie. I would like to call up our Director of Education and Congregational Engagement, Sharon Brown, and our Executive Director, Eric Schatzkin. Yeah. Yeah, why don't you go since the podium? So Sharon, Eric, and I will now present you, Rabbi Fox, with the new talit, or prayer shawl. It's a gift from the congregation. The Kabbalists considered the talit a garment that represented one service to God. In a way too complicated to explain here, its fringes represent 613 commandments listed in the Torah and are a physical reminder for us to live a life centered in mitzvot. One first receives a talit when becoming a bar or bat mitzvah. A talit is often presented to one or more spouses at a Jewish wedding, and the couple is often married under a chuppah, sometimes made from a talit. In other words, a talit is a symbol of commitment to the Jewish faith, the Jewish people, and to living a life of mitzvot. This talit in particular was handmade by the artist Hilary Miller, who created this beautiful image based on Rabbi Fox's love of the ocean. It has written on the top, Mayan Ganim Be'er Maim Chaim. Oh, beautiful. You are a garden spring, a well of fresh water from the Song of Songs. We are giving you this talit, Rabbi Fox, as part of our commitment to you. We have been working together for 4 months now. And in that time, I have felt your kindness, your support, and your true desire for partnership. You have offered guidance when I have needed it, and space when I've needed it to help me grow. Our clergy partnership is based on mutual respect, chesed, loving kindness, and joy. After just about every service, we look at each other and say, well, that was fun. And we really mean it. I am so grateful for that. For my part, I present this talit to you with the promise to support you and be here for you when you need it, and to continue to deepen our partnership on the Bima and in all the other work that we do together with rachamim, compassion, humor, learning, and friendship.
Many of us who have listened to you speak have noticed that you use the word joy often when describing how you feel about a situation, whether it's expressing being able to celebrate Shabbat together, when you're leading a discussion, when we have a family celebration. And as you are one of the newer clergy members of our staff,
One of the two.
Sharon and I started a game for every time you said it. Say it.
Joy.
Drink. So at least most of the time we were online and we would just type it to each other in the chat and we would smile. So in the beginning,
That's why you guys are always a little tipsy.
So in the beginning, I thought the word might be just thrown out there, something that someone says when leading. Joy as a filler or moving the experience along. But as I've gotten to know you over the past year, gotten to witness firsthand your love and your passion for your work, the genuine importance you put on every encounter and with staff and congregants, offering your full attention and presence to anyone who is engaging with you. The smile that comes to your face when you do your work, when you talk to our Torah Center children and their families, and when you lead a Shabbat or a holiday service. Joy isn't just a word. Joy is a tangible emotion that you seem to emit from every aspect of your being. And from the time, even before you arrived here in Long Beach, when the congregation was filled much like this, to vote for you to join us. I think the anticipation of the joy that we knew you would bring to your rabbinate here was already felt. As we had packed the sanctuary, it was the middle of the week, a nighttime, just to affirm that we wanted you here. And you're here now. And you've joined a community that is so excited and proud to have you as our spiritual leader. I hope you continue to lead with and experience in your leadership the genuine and complete joy in the role as our rabbi.
Eric. Okay. If you want more of that silliness, you can tune in on Friday afternoons for our Anything Goes program, where we like to give each other a hard time all the time. Okay. All right. Rabbi, it is our honor as fellow members of the professional team at Temple Israel to join together in presenting this beautiful talit to you this evening. As you have come to see over the past year and a half, this is an incredible community, one dedicated to self-growth, compassion for others, learning, and creativity. To be part of this congregation is to know great, passionate souls, committed members, and true love. As you know, our sanctuary ceiling was modeled after a talit. Those of us who were present at that meeting with the architect back in 2010 will never forget when he held up a talit and shared his vision for this sanctuary in our new Temple Israel home. The imagery is no less powerful today as we look up and are reminded of God's caring embrace and sheltering presence. Tonight, Cantor Cooper, Eric, and I symbolically wrap you in our support, partnership, and well wishes for a beautiful tenure ahead at Temple Israel. We look forward to being part of your team as we serve this unique and beautiful community together. We read in Psalm 104 that before God made the world, God wrapped God's self in a robe of light, a bright talit, light before the dawn of the world, light before the making of the first day, the first ray to split the darkness forever. May you always first envelop yourself in the light of Jewish wisdom, and then shine that light into the places which need illumination. When you drape this beautiful talit over your shoulders, may you be comforted by God's love and the knowledge that this community stands with you, willing and ready to help make the world a better place. And may we all go from strength to strength.
Beautiful. Beautiful. Amen.
All right.
Are we draping?
Yep.
That's how you take care of it. You know the blessing. Does anyone know the blessing?
Amen.
Is here okay?
L'chadodi, come, my beloved. In this hymn, the Kabbalist likens Shabbat to a bride whom we are preparing to meet. Please turn to page 20, and let's sing together as we prepare to receive Shabbat. We'll sing verses 1, 5, and 9. And before the last one, let's all rise together in body or in spirit and face the door to greet the Sabbath bride. Shalom, Ateret Bala. Come besimcha, u'sohola, toch emunei, am segula. As we celebrate the installation of Rabbi Fox, we also celebrate our growing relationship with his family. It's my pleasure to welcome Rabbi Fox's family up to the bima for the honor of lighting our Shabbat candles.
We'll be with you in just a moment. Well, the rabbis set a task for us. In a very early instance of either reverse psychology or maybe one of the first instances of the ever classic, don't worry, just sit here in the dark, don't worry about me. They said it's not possible to say this next prayer unless you have a group together. Now, there was a little bit of a gamble there, right? Because if you don't have a group together, if you don't have a minyan for this next prayer, then you're not able to say the blessing. But I think what they were doing is they were inviting us into something that they knew to be the case. And that is that there is something profound to joining together. And that is joining online and joining here in this space. And so my intention what will be going through my heart as I offer this next prayer is thanks to everyone here for joining, for being here, for being a part of this community and helping all of us celebrate together. Thank you. Let's continue with the words of Baruch Hu on page 28. I'd like to invite us to rise in body or in spirit. We continue together on page 30. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher bidvaro ma'ariv aravim, b'chochma poteach she'arim, uvitvuna meshane itim, umachalif et hazmanim, umisader et hakochavim, b'mishmeroteim b'rakia kirtzono, borei yom v'layla, Kolel or mipnei choshech, bechoshech mipnei or, umavir yom umevi laila, Adonai, yom vein laila, Adonai tzivaot shemo, el chai v'kayam, tamid yimloch alinu leolam va'ed, Baruch atah Adonai, hama'ariv aravim. As we continue with our service, I want to ask us to do something a little bit different, perhaps. Some teach that Shema is an invitation for us to stop and hear the voice of the holy. I believe that this voice comes from each and every one of us here. And so I am asking for you to share your voices with me tonight. Like I said, I want to try something a little bit different. And so I am asking you, thank you very much. I'm asking you, what are your hopes for our future together? What are your needs? What are the things that you look forward to with, wait for it, Eric, joy? Sorry, had to put that in there. I want to hear you. And so I invite us, we have microphones set up. I want to hear what your hopes, what your needs are, what you are excited about for our future together in this congregation. We'll take a moment to share that, perhaps a word, perhaps just a couple of words. And inevitably, there's always should I be the first one? Should I not? If you are online, I'm going to bring up the tablet so that I can see the comments that you place on the website as well. I invite us to share those hopes together.
My hope is social action-wise, I hope we even grow our social action component of the temple and that we really work on making the world a better place through that and living our Jewish values that way.
I hope that we can all find peace in our hearts, in our minds, and that way bring peace to the community.
I'm going to stay totally in my wheelhouse and say that with our commitment to the written word, I hope we read lots of good books together.
I hope to remove fear. I hope that we all get to share a lot more Torah classes together and get to impart all of our wisdoms and your wisdom onto us.
Thank you for that.
I hope to see our community grow under your leadership so that another time we would see this completely full.
I'd like to find what binds us together as a Jewish community and get to know people better than I know now.
I hope that no matter who we are or what we believe, that we are kind to each other.
I hope we connect with each other.
Excuse me. More music. Someone had to say it.
Oh, Rabbi, I had one more hope.
Oh, please.
I hope that together as a community we can help our children continue to thrive in Judaism.
Amen. I'd like to read some of the comments that are online as well, and thank you to everyone online for sharing. To live our Jewish values every day. Conviviality and respect, sincere mutuality. Let's join together. Page 40. Page 34.
Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad. 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 Baruch Shem Kevod Malchuto Le'olam Va'ed. Baruch Shem Kevod Malchuto Le'olam Va'ed. Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad. Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad.
Shamati. I receive all of this with love. Let's continue with our words of Yahavta, page 46, 36, 35. I don't know why I'm on all these different pages. Whatever page you want, whatever page is. Thank you. Thank you, Mom.
This has the
Yeah.
pages on here.
Please be seated.
Ve'ahavta et Adonai Elohecha bechol levavcha uvechol nafshecha uvechol meodecha vehayu hadvarim ha'ele asher anochi metzavecha hayom al levavecha veshinantam levanecha vedibarta bam beshivtecha beveitecha uvlechtecha vaderech uvshokbecha uvkumecha ukshartam leot al yadecha vehayu letotafot beineinecha uchtavtam al mezuzot beitecha uvisharecha leman tizkeru va'asitem et kol mitzvotai והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם. אני אדוני אלוהיכם, אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים, להיות לכם לאלוהים. אני אדוני אלוהיכם, אדוני אלוהיכם אמת.
We continue on page 40 with the words of Micha Mocha. Well, there's actually a tradition of not wearing a talit for some of us on Friday night. And the practice comes from a section of the Talmud where they wonder about the only way you could wear a talit is to notice the difference in colors on the talit, the blue and white, the different lines that are a part of that garment. And they say that that is what allows us to awaken to a new experience for them. The new day is to be able to see clearly the differentiation. Well, they go on, as they always do in the Talmud, right, to say, well, okay, so how do we actually know that we are able to truly see those difference in lines? They go back and forth, they discuss, and the conclusion that they come to is it's in the moment that we are able to stand and see one another face to face, to be with one another truly, that we are able to actually see. This evening, we see one another clearly. And so we have invited everyone to bring talitot. If you have not brought one, I believe have a couple of volunteers who might be helping pass out some talitot. As we continue with our next prayer, we want to invite us to honor this sacred space, this place that we have together underneath a talit, for each of us to place ourselves under talitot as well. And so, if you don't have a talit, we are all underneath this greater talit in our sanctuary. But we wanted to honor this safe and sacred space that we hold together. And so I invite us to take this talit now. Let's honor this beautiful congregation, this beautiful home we build together tonight. You'll find the words for this particular prayer on the pamphlet. I invite us to sing together. And take a moment just to get our talitot. Yes. Yeah, let's do it. Oh, either way. I invite us to place the talitot over our heads and over the heads of those next to us. Let's create a space, a sanctuary together. God of Abraham, Sarah, Rebekah, Isaac, Leah, Jacob, and Rachel. This next prayer, our Amidah, is a prayer of generations. And we share this bima with a remarkable line of clergy leaders. I stand here in a long line of honored and great leaders, great clergy in this congregation. Some of whom are here and represented here. And so this prayer is my prayer in this line of clergy. I'd like to take special note of one thing in particular. Rabbi Kelter, when he came to Temple Israel, noticed that there wasn't a Kiddush cup. And so he actually brought a Kiddush cup. He brought this Kiddush cup to this congregation. Some of us may recognize it being displayed for each of us in our community. This evening, I will drink from this Kiddush cup, this one that Rabbi Kelter used so many years ago, that's been resting in our entryway, holding many years of celebration and history. This evening, I will drink from that same cup, sharing love and respect to all I shared this sacred role with through the many generations of this beloved institution. And so this evening, I humbly open my lips. I invite us to turn to page 46 for the Amidah. Please rise in body or in spirit. We continue either silently using the words in the pages to follow or other words that we might find in our hearts. We'll join back together in just a moment. When you have finished with your prayer, I invite you to please be seated. Our thoughts now turn to those in our community who are in need of healing. And that is a healing of the body or a healing of the mind, a healing of the spirit or the soul. And so if you are joining us online on tilb.org, I want to invite you to place the names of those that you are thinking of in the chat now. We'll offer their names in just a moment. Together, we are thinking of Miriam Elisheva, Colleen Carver, Darren Hammer, Steve Gratch, Laura Bleiberg, Bob Wallace, Bob Bender, Wendy Bender, Dorothy Kay, Joshua Kay, Marlene Sanchez, Renee Simon, Art Levine, Charlotte Axel, Robin Nahan, Ray Edelman, Leah Pask, Burton Gifford, Kim Gifford, Jordan Gifford, Brandon Berry, Wade Chernick, Sandra Chernick, Don Kaiser, Ellen Sinaga, Andrea Palela, Minnie Math, Connie Kopis, Judy D'Ambrosio, Barbara Wieglin, Yaakov ben Eliyahu v'Yehudit, Erwin Spiegel, David Randall, Danny Grief, Sharon Eisner, Janice Robbins, Brian Edelman, Cheryl Fossum, Bill McDaniel, Mark Briggs, Julie Raphael Wood, Rachel Herman, Janice Kranz, Mindy Raphael Hyde, Larry Blum, David Roman, David Keene, Richard Mills, Leon Bland, Carlos Sanchez, Rosalind Descal, Christina Kubelka, Julie Dolan Garner, Nadine Picard, Tut Kempel, Brian Dunleavy, Tim Wong, Josephine Danziger, Amelia Costa, Ari Costa, Susan Lesser-Seltzer, and Jeff Seltzer. If you are thinking of someone and you'd like to share their name aloud so that we might all hold that person in our heart, I invite you to share their name aloud as my eyes pass across our sanctuary.
Linda Pate. Zoe Armstrong.
Mel Birkin and Hannah Bat Hannah.
We include from those joining us online Pat Rawls, Julia Montgomery, Peggy Horowitz, Ariana Scotti, Ellen Goldsmith, Michael Laibson, Alan Laibson, Rabbi Ellen Weinberg-Dreyfus, Roberta Bavin, Sally Perlman, Barry Perlman, Olivia Escoboza, Jeff Kohlberg, Linda Lord, Michelle Dunn, Yvette Fierstein, and Gladys Silverman. We hold all of these people in our hearts as we offer words of healing. You can find these words on page 253 of our prayer books, page 253.
Leimotenu
I'd like to introduce our immediate past president, Steve Gordon, to the Bema to share a few words. The staff at Temple Israel so values our working relationships with our lay leaders. Steve worked very closely with Rabbi Fox during the rabbinic search process, as well as during his first year here. Thank you, Steve, for being here.
Shabbat Shalom. I would also like to extend a welcome to Rabbi Fox's family and friends. It truly is great meeting you and also having you here with us. I was going to say it's a joy to have you here, but I didn't want Eric and Sharon to have to take another drink. Ideally, we would have had this celebration a year ago, but obviously we couldn't do that. And to be able to celebrate tonight after waiting a year, I think makes it all the more sweet. So it's great to all be here tonight. The words that we exchanged a few moments ago, Shabbat Shalom, is a greeting that we offer each other this time every week. Its meaning is an expression of hope for a peaceful Shabbat. But when you dig a little bit deeper, there's another meaning. And that meaning is an expression of hope to be restored to wholeness on this blessed Sabbath. I think that meaning is particularly appropriate given the reason we're here celebrating tonight and this weekend. 2 years ago, our congregation was at a crossroads. Our beloved, thriving, vibrant congregation was at a crossroads. I know this to be true because I was there, right in the middle of it all. And then something happened. We hired Rabbi Fox to be our new senior rabbi. From the very beginning, he knew we needed to heal. Conducting services, facilitating Torah study, and all the many, many other job responsibilities were still there and important and had to be done, but we needed to heal. And that was true on many different levels. He also understood and continues to understand that a critical component of healing is the establishment of relationships. Temple Israel is a house of sacred worship and spirituality. But those concepts are subjective. Everybody observes and prays in their own way, whatever way that may be. What isn't subjective, however, is that we are also a relationship-based organization. And I firmly believe that the strength of our relationships enhances the meaningfulness of our worship experiences. When we are here, in this building, in this room, engaged in prayer, it doesn't happen in a vacuum. It occurs while we are surrounded by family and friends. And Rabbi Fox gets that. Last year, as president, I had the privilege of meeting with him on a regular basis. And I really miss those conversations. In addition to discussing important things like philosophy, culture, the Beatles, and not necessarily in that order, we also talked about temple business. And on the agenda and at almost every one of our meetings was a discussion of how he was going to get to know our congregants, and more importantly, how they were going to get to know him. Under the best of circumstances, establishing relationships with nearly 600 families is a daunting task. It requires a great deal of effort and commitment. And when you add in a little something like a pandemic, the challenge is off the charts. But he is doing so, and it is happening. Our relationship with Rabbi Fox began with a comprehensive 3-day interview process. He was asked to meet with many different demographic groups at Temple, which consisted of literally hundreds of questions and answers. And at the same time we were interviewing him, he was interviewing us. At the end of those 3 days, it was time for him to depart. And I went up to him to say goodbye, and I felt myself wanting to give him a hug, which I did. Never before have I ever hugged anyone I was interviewing or been interviewed by. I'm sure I broke all kinds of HR rules and laws. But I am eternally grateful that he felt the same way about us as we felt about him. It was bar shared. I have this fantasy. The fantasy is that our entire congregation allow Rabbi Fox into their lives. Idealistic? Yes, it is. Realistic? Probably not. But what is realistic is that every single one of us makes the effort to move in that direction. Tell him your story. He wants to hear it. Ask him about his story. He wants to share it. And if you do that, I promise your lives will be enriched as mine has been. And if we do so as a congregation, oh man, our synagogue will have a strength and a power that is unequaled and envied. And we will continue to be the thriving, vibrant congregation that we are today. I thank you for being here tonight. May you have a peaceful Shabbat, and may you all be restored to wholeness on this glorious Sabbath. Shabbat Shalom. It is now my honor to introduce our next speaker. Rabbi Jeff Brown is the spiritual leader of Scarsdale Synagogue in the Westchester County suburbs of New York City and has been there since the year 2012. Over the years, he has published a wide variety of subjects, including dietary policies in Reform communal settings, as well as High Holy Day liturgical questions connected to LGBTQ inclusivity. To further his expertise in the area of pastoral counseling, he just completed his Doctor of Ministry degree with the Hebrew Union College. But that's not why he's here. The friendship between these two individuals began when a recently graduated high school senior named Scott Fox was leaving for college, and a young rabbi came to his home congregation. They soon realized that they each shared a common love of Shabbat lunches, Mexican food, and good books on prophets and Torah study. It was on a bright, sunny afternoon at Rico's Taco Shop that our future rabbi told the very first person that he would be entering rabbinical school. Through the years, they have remained close and have enjoyed sharing each other's simchas, including B'nai Mitzvah and rabbinic installations. Please join me in welcoming in true Temple Israel audacious hospitality fashion, Rabbi Fox's dear friend and mentor, Rabbi Jeff Brown.
look, we're just going to put a pause on this thing, and we got to go to Rico's right now. I mean, Shabbat Shalom. In the fall of 2002, I was privileged to witness another rabbinic installation, the inauguration of my teacher, Rabbi David Ellenson, as the president of Hebrew Union College. The high point of that ceremony was a passing of the Torah from the generation of rabbinic leadership that preceded him. And the moment culminated as Dr. Ellenson's teacher, Rabbi Wally Kelter of blessed memory, passed the Torah to him. Dr. Ellenson would go on to pass his Torah to me and to ordain me as a rabbi in 2005, and Rabbi Fox as well in 2013. Back in 2002, I did not know who Rabbi Kelter was. I did not know that he was a student of Rabbi Leo Beck at the Hochschule, the center of 19th and early 20th century liberal Jewish life in Germany. Nor did I know that he was plucked from the fire, along with emerging luminaries like Rabbis Gunther Plaut and Abraham Joshua Heschel. All three of them saved by Rabbi Julian Morgenstern, himself president of Hebrew Union College, before war broke out in the late 1930s. And I most certainly did not know that Rabbi Kelter had served with distinction as senior rabbi of this very congregation for 25 years. To be here tonight in this congregation that Rabbi Kelter helped to build is to situate myself in the Shalshelet HaKabbalah, the unending chain of tradition that ties me to the teachers who came before me, and they to the teachers who came before them. If Dr. Ellenson was standing here right now, he'd be crying too. So let's just be clear about that. To be here tonight in this sacred space is for me to be reminded that the essence of being a rabbi is to lift up students that they themselves might become teachers of Torah in their own right. And I'm grateful beyond words that you have all invited me to be here with you tonight so that I can do exactly that as we together participate in the installation of your rabbi and my friend, Rabbi Scott Fox. I want to briefly reflect tonight on the question of what it means to be an authentic human being and an authentic rabbi. Let's begin with the acknowledgement that there's a certain brokenness in our tradition around this issue. Consider, for example, the traditional Jewish liturgy that parents and grandparents are invited to invoke on Shabbat as we bless our children. In blessing girls, we say, Yesimech Elohim kesara Rivka Rachel v'Leah. May God make you like our matriarchs, Sarah, Rebecca, Rachel, and Leah. And in blessing boys, Yesimcha Elohim ke'Ephraim v'chi Menashe. May God make you to be like Jacob's grandsons, Ephraim and Menashe. There's plenty for us to grapple with here, not the least of which is our tradition's historic presumption of a gender binary we are no longer bound by. But beyond gender identity, why are we so quick to pray that our children should be like Sarah or Ephraim? I ask because I wonder if the liturgy unwittingly created a culture that sets our children up for failure, in holding on to the expectation that our children should grow up to be, or to be like, someone in particular, be it Sarah or Ephraim or Albert Einstein, or insert the name of your favorite and most successful Jewish doctor here, we run the risk of preventing them from accessing and being the true, authentic self that is hiding inside of them, waiting to be discovered. This crisis of identity and authenticity is also front and center in this week's Torah portion, Parshat Toldot. Isaac, on his deathbed, calls for a meal from Esau so that the birthright might be bestowed upon him. But Rebekah and Jacob preempt Esau by perpetrating a deception. As Genesis 27 reports, Jacob got the food items that Rebekah asked for, and his mother prepared a dish such as his father liked, and verse 15 follows. Rebekah took the clothes of Esau, the older of her two children, which were with her in the house, and she, in my mind, absurdly, shockingly, distressingly, dressed Jacob, her younger child, in them. And you know the rest of the story. Jacob deceives Isaac into believing that he's actually transmitting the birthright to Esau, and the torch is passed, and thousands of years later, here we are today, blessing God of Abraham, God of Isaac, and the God of... There you go. They're already Torah scholars. Look at this. Just as with the liturgy around the blessing of our children, here too our sacred text poses a problem concerning authenticity. The biblical author would have us believe that the ends justify the means, that Jacob was fated to inherit leadership of the Jewish people, and that God blessed the deception as a mechanism for actualizing that goal. But Scott, I would caution you against holding Jacob up as a rabbinic role model in this regard. Too many of our colleagues fall into the trap of treating the rabbinate as a part that is meant to be acted, navigating synagogue politics by pretending to be whatever our lay people want or need us to be in that moment. Costumed like Jacob, if you will, just to please a parent. The rabbis of the Talmud understood the pitfalls of such an approach and actively cautioned against it. We see this in the context of a discussion about who is qualified to serve as a shaliach tzibur, a leader of public prayer. Rabbi Chanin ben Dosa teaches on Brachot 34b, Im shegura tefilati b'fi. If the prayers of my lips flowed smoothly, if they came naturally to me without artifice, then yodea ani shehu mikubal. Then I know that my prayers were accepted by the Holy One on high. Ve'im lav, but if they weren't offered authentically, then yodea ani shehu mitoraf. Then I know that they were metoraf, that they were treif, unkosher, if you will, and therefore unacceptable to God. The value behind the job description of a shaliach tzibur is magnified when the rabbis make their case for the way that Torah ought to be taught. Sanhedrin 92a. The Amar Rabbi Elazar, Kol hamachalif bediboro. Rabbi Elazar said, every person who switches up the way that they teach from their authentic voice to a voice that is not their own. Ki'ilu, it is as if Oved Avodah Zarah. It is as if they practiced idol worship. To invoke Avodah Zarah, to invoke idol worship, is for the rabbis to convey their highest level of concern about problematic behavior among Jewish religious leaders of that time. Reflecting on all of this, Dr. Aviva Zornberg writes, to neglect that which is most essential to one's authentic being, in this case, the responsibility of the scholar to their text and to their innermost selves, is a fundamentally criminal act of not taking God seriously. To my new friends of Temple Israel, I have good news for you. Your rabbi is a mensch of the highest order, whose every breath is rooted in authentic intentionality. I can say this with some authority, as I have had the great pleasure of knowing Scott for 16 years. We met in 2005 when I joined Temple Solel of Encinitas as assistant rabbi, and my transition from rabbinic student to real live rabbi was jarring. But it was made easier and sweeter thanks to new friends and colleagues. Rabbi Lenore Bohm, who served Temple Solel with distinction as senior rabbi in its early history and who is with us this evening, was one such reassuring presence to me and my family. But it was the relationship that Amy and I formed with Temple Solel's educator, Ellen, and her husband, Steve, that proved transformational. Ellen became a mentor of mine at work and outside of work over Shabbat meals and walks and hikes. Ellen and Steve became like parents to us. As my own parents, my in-laws were on the East Coast, and Steve and Ellen were promoted to honorary grandparents when our children, Siona and Avi, joined us on our California adventure. It was through Ellen and Steve, of course, that I came to know their youngest son, Scott. During all of this time, I've considered myself an honorary and self-proclaimed member of the Fox family. And so I feel qualified to tell you what it means, I think, to be a Fox. It is first and foremost to be rooted in the daily radical practice of chesed, or loving kindness, to enter the world learning from your first breath that to be here is a gift, and that we should devote our lives to giving rather than taking, to serving others rather than ourselves. To be a Fox is to weave that chesed into a committed daily practice of Judaism, bringing our traditions alive in the home, out in the world, as we seek to embody a Judaism that honors the traditions of our past with a sense of meaning rooted in modernity. But there's a third aspect of being a Fox, and it is, in my opinion, a precious trait that prepares Scott singularly for a life in the rabbinate. It is the foundational predisposition to live one's life authentically, where one's inner values are synced up with the version of ourselves that we let the rest of the world see. And to put it another way, one of the gifts of being in relationship with a Fox is that what you see is what you get. the inspiring goodness that we see on the outside of Steve and Ellen, of Scott and his brother Randy, and that was left behind by the legacy of Scott's brother Mark of blessed memory. All of that is merely the outer reflection of an inner goodness that glows inside. And when I was lucky enough to stand under the chuppah with Scott and Dory as they pledged their lives to each other, it was by then utterly obvious to me that Scott had found a partner in the world who was herself a match in the best sense of the word, mirroring that same sense of inner authenticity and goodness. And my friends, the proof of all of this is in the pudding, as they say. Spend just 10 seconds with Adi, and you will see the joy of how this way of living and being and parenting in the world gets passed on to the next generation. So, Rabbi Fox, you want to come up here? This is fun, huh? You okay? I love it. On the Shabbat in which we invoke blessings and celebrate your leadership here at Temple Israel of Long Beach, yes, may you be like the best of our colleagues who came before us, learn from and be inspired by your teachers and the teachers of your teachers and their teachers before them. Be like Rabbi Leo Beck and Rabbi Wally Kelter and Rabbi David Ellenson and Rabbi Lenore Bohm. Be like them, but don't aspire to be them. Be you, in the fullest and the best sense of the word. The contemporary feminist liturgist Marcia Falk, responding to the liturgical formulation for the blessing of children, offers up her own rendition. And it's my blessing, and it is our blessing to you tonight. Hechye asher tichye, v'hechye baruch ba'asher tichye, be who you are, and may you be blessed in all that you are. Mazal tov to you, and mazal tov to all of you. Shabbat shalom.
You ready?
I'm ready.
We will now begin the formal ritual of installation. Will the congregation please rise in body or spirit?
When our ancestors were looking for home, they drilled a well to draw water from the ground. And when our families came together, they met at the well. Our creation story recognizes the elemental nature of water, a material older than this world, and it is no surprise that when our ancestors described the Torah, they described it too as water. And so we gather around this holy source. We drink from its abundant fountain, and we sustain ourselves on it. and we stand here together at the well. All of us in love with its offering, as you have asked me to draw from it and share with you, and I humbly accept your call. I am committed to this sacred work, both when I lie down and when I wake up. At the end of the day, I will meditate on your needs. In the morning, I will rise up with dreams of what our future can be. I make this commitment here and now and again. Every day we build this community together. Every day you share your children with me to wonder your hearts in sadness and joy, and I ask you to affirm and grow with me. Let us flourish not one or the other, but together, not only because we are stronger for it, but because there is beauty in companionship. We were made to be partners in the work of creation. I commit to listening, to opening my heart and ears to our many voices, to be an assembler of needs, ideas, stories, excitements, and confidences. To hold these and when right, to guide kindly and honestly, not taking lightly the trust you have offered me. I commit to being authentic. I will tell you when I don't know, and I will challenge you when I feel I do. I commit to teaching. What I am blessed to learn, I am excited to share. I commit to experimenting. There is no new life without trying new things, and I promise to do so thoughtfully and respectfully. I commit to taking care of myself and my family. I cannot be present for you when I am not present for them and myself. So I will take time to rest and exercise, eat, play music, and read, and because it feeds both you and me, I will always study and learn. I commit to being present with everyone here in good and in difficult times. In moments to celebrate and mourn, I will be with you equally. It is just as meaningful for me to sit with you in sorrow as in joy. And I commit to each of you equally. Every one of us deserves Torah. We all stood at Sinai. I believe our synagogue can be a place where we draw meaningful and authentic connection, where we are changed and changed for the better. This Torah, which comes to us from generations past, which I hand to our young people learning to grow into adults, this Torah which has sailed across the sea and rests now home by the shore, this Torah water to those who hold fast to it, with words both puzzling and genius that rises up like the sea of reeds to protect us and shelter us, guide us, give us passage, and remind us of the miracle of life, this Torah, which comes both from the earth scarce and everywhere. Tap gently. That speaks old and new, the very home of creation, the very same and the so very new. This I will draw with you. I will learn with you. I will keep in my heart. And so let us drink together. Baruch atah Adonai, Mekor hachayim ber mayim chayim. Blessed are you, Adonai, source of being and wellspring of living water.
Please join me in the congregation blessing over Rabbi Fox. May the one who blessed our ancestors, Sarah, Rebecca, Rachel, and Leah, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, bless and sustain Rabbi Fox. Grant him wisdom and compassion in equal measure to teach and comfort those in need. Give him strength to continue work in difficult times and generosity to share abundance when life is full. May he be blessed with a welcoming and supportive congregation and community. May Rabbi Fox help Temple Israel continue to be a home for celebration and exploration of Jewish learning, spirituality, and community. May Torah and tradition continue to be a source of joy for him, and may he be blessed with insight and inspiration as he continues to Jewish learning and practice. May words of wisdom come from his lips and compassion fill his heart as we move together from strength to strength. We welcome you as our rabbi. Amen.
Amen.
Dory, I'd love for you to come and join us. This is our blessing for your family. We, the congregation of Temple Israel, welcome you, Rabbi Fox, Dory, and Adi, into our community with abundant love. Your family is now a part of our family. While we come to you, Rabbi Fox, for support in our times of need, we are also here for your family to share in the joys and sorrows that may come upon you in the course of your lives. Like this beautiful talit is wrapped around you, we wrap our own arms around you and your family in a protective embrace. Just as you care for us individually and as a community and hold us in your hearts, we also carry you in ours. May the bonds of our mutual love, support, and respect endure and grow stronger throughout the years. May the wisdom of Torah enlighten and uplift our relationship. May the Spirit of the divine be present in all of our actions, and may we go forth always with love and compassion. Amen. Now I'd like us all to join together in the Shehechianu, the blessing that we say when we come to a very special moment in our lives. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam Shehechianu v'kimanu v'higianu lazman hazeh. Amen.
We continue now with the words of Aleinu, page 282.
Aleinu l'shabeach ladon hakol, latet gerula leotzer breshit, shelo asanu kegoye haratzot, velo samanu kemishpechot ha'adama, shelo sam chelkeinu kaham, vegor ואנחנו קוראים ומשתחווים ומודים לפני
Please be seated.
Thank you. Thank you.
Well, our thoughts now turn to those who have died in recent days or in this season in years past. So for those of us joining online, I'd like to invite you to place the names of those you are thinking of in the chat. Together, we are in a period of Shiva and Shloshim, observing the 7 days and the 30 days after the death of Evelyn Hyman. We mourn with those near to Evelyn. We mourn with Heather. We mourn with those near to Percy Morris. We mourn with Aaron and Andrea. We mourn with Ellie Brooks. We mourn with Rochelle and Jim and Kylie, Brooke and Grant, Mattingly. And we mourn with those near to Leonora Weber and Madge Pizer as we hold them in our hearts. We additionally think of those near to Dorothy Hartstein, who passed away this past Monday. Her funeral will take place this Sunday. And we mark the yard site, the anniversary of the death of Lottie Abend, Helen Barrett, Samuel Barrow, August Bussey Sr., Herman Damon, Harriet DeSellis, Joseph Dietz, Julie Dorr Fays, Jack Fudim, Paul Fulltime, Faye Green, Rose Greenberg, Doris Gruberg, Jack Harlett, Ruth Heidelberger, Max Lerner, Elizabeth Lieberman, Cecil Lillian, Anthony Masters, Arthur Menaker, Edward Milks, Sid Newman, Goldie Obodov, John Phillips, Benjamin Plotkin, Sylvia Pokris, Rao Prasadio, Ren Protz, Morris Propus, Doris Ratner, Howard Ratner, Bella Rosenberg, Miriam Shapiro, Irvin Stern, and Marim Tsipkis. If you are thinking of someone this evening, I'd like to invite you to share their name as my eyes pass across our sanctuary. I'd like to invite all of us to rise together in love and in solidarity. So we offer the words of the Mourner's Kaddish, these traditional words of mourning, which are found on page 294 of our prayer books, page 294. I invite us to say these words together. Yitgadal, Yitkadash Shemei Rabbah, Be'alma Divarach Chirutei Ve'amlich Malchutei, B'chayechon V'yomechon, Uv'chaye Dechol Beit Yisrael, Ba'agala Uv'izman Kariv V'imru, Amen. Yehei Shmei Rabba Mevarach Leolam Olmel Maya, Yitbarach V'ishtabach V'itpa'ar V'itramam V'yitnaseh, V'itadar V'italev V'talal Shmei Dekudisha Barichu, Le'ela Min Kol Birchata V'shirata, Tushbachata V'nechamata, Damiran Be'alma V'imru, Amen. Rabba Min Shemaya, V'chaim Aleinu V'al Kol Yisrael, V'imru, Amen. Osei Shalom B'mramav, Hu Ya'aseh Shalom, Aleinu V'al Kol Yisrael, V'al Kol Yoshvei Tevel, V'imru, Amen. Zichronam Livracha, may the memories of those near to us always be a source of blessing. I invite us together to say, Amen. I'd like to invite us to be seated, and I'd like to invite our president, Mark Dressner, up to offer some announcements this evening.
Right, cool. Truly, I've been a Temple member here for 18 years, and this has been one of the most memorable highlights of my last 18 years, so it's been really cool. I do want to say two words, though, and I'm just going to echo a little bit of what other people have said tonight. First off, a rabbi or a person does not become who they are in a vacuum. So I think the people we really need to thank are the rabbi's parents. And I met his mother this afternoon, and I said, really good parenting. So thank you for giving him to us. The other thing, I want to echo a little bit of what Steve said, and I really want every VP on the executive committee and secretary and treasurer to remember this. The rabbi has established a really neat pattern of meeting with the current president pretty much an hour every week, and it is a really, really special hour. And Steve let me share his hour a little bit at the end, which was really nice. But this could be you, any one of you, or more of you in the future. So remember that executive committee. But even more so, for any of the congregants who have not met one-on-one with the rabbi, his real gift, despite all his other gifts, is how he's really there for you and how he listens and really wants to hear your story. And what's even better is he really does give you part of his, and you leave your encounters feeling like you know him even better, even though he's been there for you. So I really encourage you, if you've not met with him one-on-one, to do that. There's a way you can do it online and make appointments with him, spend some time and get to know him, and let him get to know you. That's what I have to say. I'm so happy you're here. All right, board announcements for the next week. So tomorrow morning is a very, very special Torah study starting at 8:30, and it's going to be led by Rabbi Bohm, who Rabbi Fox said this afternoon, whenever he speaks, he always thinks, is this what Rabbi Bohm would have done? What would she have done? So I think it's going to be a very special Torah study tomorrow, so please be on, whether in person or Zoom. Tomorrow night is really the blowout celebration at 5 o'clock at Westerly. So it's going to be a very musical, fun Havdalah. There's going to be a taco truck there. Totally Jewish appropriate taco truck. So please be there tomorrow night. That's going to be really fun. I'm going to skip to the bottom of something unusual that's happening this week. On Thursday is the Sisterhood Holiday Craft Fair from 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. So if you can come here between 10 a.m. and 3 p.m., come to the craft fair. There's going to be handmade gifts, food, and a raffle, and come shop for Hanukkah. Back to our usual things that happen every week. 9:45 on Monday is our New Testament study class from a Jewish perspective. Tuesday morning at 9:30 is the men's minyan led by Alan Lillian, or contact him if you're interested. On Wednesday at 7 o'clock, Rabbi Fox will be leading Joys of Jewish Learning class, Taste of Judaism. Also on Wednesday at 7 o'clock, the Women's Book Club is discussing the book The Hidden Palace, a novel of the Golem and the Genie by Helen Wecker. That's going to be a meeting just on Zoom. Thursday at 7:30 a.m. is our meditative morning minion experience with Bill Shafton. That's on Zoom. Our Tanakh study group meets every Thursday at 10:15 a.m. And if you'd like to know more about that, contact Martine. And I think that is it for the week. It's a slower week than usual, isn't it? That's kind of interesting. Any other announcements? Yeah.
This Sunday at 4 p.m. is the Belmont Shore Neighborhood News and Schmooze. It's on Zoom. There was an email that went out today. And next Sunday, the 14th, as a result of the News and Schmooze is an attempt to get our congregants to know each other outside of the cathedral walls and extend community. So next Sunday, the 14th, at 2 p.m., the SHOACs, Lee and Barbara, have offered a gathering in their backyard, socially distanced with masks. They will provide the snacks and the beverages, and that's for 90807.
Anything else? Okay, so executive committee, remember what I said, an hour a week with the rabbi. This could be you in the future. Okay, Shabbat Shalom.
Well, as we bring our service together and conclude it this evening, we sing the words, Oseh Shalom. Oseh Shalom literally means to create peace, but there's an interesting root of that word. Shalom actually comes from the root shalem, which is to complete, to bring things together and assemble them as one, and it is as one community that I invite us to sing together this evening.
Shalom bimromav, hu yaseh shalom aleinu, ve'al kol Yisrael, ve'imru amen.
What is going on? Oh, this is very loud. Hi. Rabbi, this has been an amazing, joyous evening, and what a wonderful way for us to all gather together.
It's almost like things were not perfect. But what is? But it's like they're getting better.
Have to admit, it's getting better. It's getting better all the time. I admit, it's getting better, a little better. Since you've been mine, getting so much better all the time. I admit, it's getting better, a little better all the time. Can't get much worse.
I admit it's getting better,
a little better. Since you've been mine, getting so much better all the time.
It's getting better all the time.
Better, better. It's getting better all the time. Better, better. Getting so much better all the time. Shabbat shalom. Hey. Shabbat shalom. Hey. Shabbat, 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 Shabbat shalom. Hey. Shabbat shalom. Shabbat shalom. Hey. Shabbat, 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 Shabbat shalom. Shabbat, 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 Shabbat shalom. Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat, 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 Shabbat Shalom.
Well, that was fun.
What band was that?
That was so fun.
That was amazing. All right, so let's continue celebrating. Let's continue with our time together. We're going to continue with an oneg outside of our sanctuary. I want to invite us to offer our blessing of Kiddush, of Motzi, really quickly before we go out. Let's offer together. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, borei peri hagafen. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, hamotzi lachem min ha'aretz. Just the one-liner. Sorry. Avon. But Te'avon, let's continue to celebrate. Shabbat Shalom, everyone.